Hello, one thing I like to talk about is psychological manipulation, and one of the methods is that they get people to do good things for the targeted individual but for the bad intentions. So the handler has bad intentions to control the victim or to destroy in a certain way, but they will manipulate perps to get them to do a good service or do good actions for the victim. One example is that the victim could be say partying every day, but the handler would manipulate perps to say that he's silly and he should to say that he's silly and he should be doing something better with his life, when in actual fact it's only because they don't like them having a good time every day. And it's hypocrisy because the handlers do silly things themselves, but when they see someone else do silly things, they don't like it because they can be more happier, or the handlers cannot find any more happiness, so they will try to change the targeted individual, and they will say to the perps or they'll manipulate perps saying to control the victim through faith and religion by saying that they should be home with their family and they should be be more faithful or religious, when in actual fact they're not religious themselves or faithful. And it's all to basically, so these good actions are all to basically change the victim's lifestyle of not going out every day and partying, as just an exaggeration. So I've done a little diagram here, being the victim in yellow, and in the grey brown spots being the perps, being the manipulative perps, and the handler in the orange. And here I've just done a little note saying bad intention to destroy a victim or control them by the handler, and then between the handler and the perps, manipulate perps to provide good service and to do good actions for the victim, which the perps in return don't know it's for the handler's wrong reasons. And that's in green, showing the manipulation. Then in blue, saying good actions performed in the end, where it stems from is for bad intentions. So let me repeat that again: good actions performed in end, but where it stems from is for bad intentions. So between the victim and the perps, it just shows a good world. Perps are doing good things for victim, but really when you see behind all that, where it stems from is really bad, because between the handler and the perps is manipulation, and it's the handler not liking the victim of the way they are. Another example is the victim could be independent, working hard, working out every day, being healthy and fit, minding his own business, and the handler would find this threatful and not like it, because they're not part of society and not part of their social perps. So but it's hypocrisy really, because the handlers themselves, they are narcissistic and they like being alone, but when they get fed up of being alone, they don't like any other person being alone, because the handlers being alone, they are very mischievous and narcissistic in the wrong way, but the victim is alone but in a good way, maybe a spiritual way, a faithful way, peaceful way. Is alone in a different way. So the handlers would blame their problems on the victim, saying that he's suspicion of terror or suspicion of doing wrong things, simply because the handler can't be at peace with themselves. But this is one example. I know it's not always the same, because sometimes perps would do bad actions for the victim, like send death threats, but this is just one example I'm saying, but there's many. But I'm just mentioning this one because through good actions it's very manipulative and you can't see the underlying wrong reasons behind it. I've also done I've also shown a little diagram showing the victim, like a big world of victims being controlled, but there's something bigger which controls over them. other people. I found a good quote online. It said the ultimate tyranny in a society is not controlled by martial law, it is controlled by the psychological manipulation of consciousness through which reality is defined, so that those who exist within it do not even realize that they are imprisoned. They do not even realize that there is something outside of where they exist. It's by Barbara Marciniak. I can't read it properly because it's in calligraphy. But yeah, this is true because it shows that the victim is in it reflects the victim, showing that the victim is in a prison, and they don't realize that there's something outside of where they exist. But when the ones who do become aware become a targeted individual. Another good quote is, I do not respect people's faith, but I don't respect their manipulation of that faith in order to create fear and control. This is true because there's a lot of politics in religion and maybe even spirituality. A lot of politics and manipulation and controlling the truths and falses of what people should see to limit their beliefs. Yeah, and they use religion to control people. This is another one, but there's no name. This one was by Javier Bardem. This one is a good quote as well. People who feel the need to control others don't have control over themselves, which is true because this refers to gang stalkers, because they crave to control others because they can't control themselves. They can't do good for themselves, so they think if they do good for others or do something for others, but yeah, they can do bad for others, but when they do good for others, it's for the wrong reasons. It's just to interfere with their life or to change their lifestyle. Here's a good random words of brainstorm on psychological manipulation, which you can research in your own time. A new one for me is Machiavellian. I've heard of it, but I've never researched it. And yeah, they are psychopaths. Psychological manipulators are psychopaths, but they are all linked. So even if gang stalking was taken out, psychological manipulation is same as gang stalking, and the mind of the psychopath acts the same as psychological manipulation and the same as gaslighting and gang stalking. So even if they're not linked, they are linked in some way because the behavior is the same. And here's the techniques they use. You can research in your own time. You probably know what lying denial is already. Shamming, I'll come to that. Yeah, they can do diversions maybe through sensitization. Probably that's one way. Yeah, seduction. I don't know what minimization is. I've heard of guilt tripping, but I've forgotten the meaning. Rationalization, covert intimidation, vilifying the victim, selective inattention, playing the victim role. I've heard of playing the victim role is where the gang stalker would act as the victim, like they've been ignored, or the victim's ignored them or hasn't talked to them, which then they blame them as selfish or hateful against them, when in actual fact they have never hated. They've never caused rumours to the gang stalkers, but in return the gang stalkers have created rumours for the victim and hate for the victim. Yeah, they play the servant role, but but for the wrong reasons. So they can do good things for the victims, but for the wrong reasons, just to expect something in return, when then the victim would just do something in return then, whether it's something good. But also playing the servant role is like it's like a thief in disguise really, because you want to steal what the victim knows, and to do this you do a good thing for the victim, then in return the victim would do something good, so it would share something good back, but it's all a trap to basically steal what the victim knows. Projecting the blame, yeah, blaming others, that's what gang stalkers do. They blame their problems on others. and the psychopaths involved can blame the victim of being the psychopath. That's how shocking it is. Or even the psychological manipulation in gang stalking. The psychological manipulators in gang stalking can blame the victim as a psychological manipulator, so things do get confusing there. Here's a good another good quote I found. A manipulator uses sarcasm and put downs to increase fear and self-doubt in the victim. Manipulators use the tactic to make others feel unworthy and therefore defer to them. Shamming tactics can be very subtle, such as a face, look or glance, unpleasant tone of voice, rhetorical comments, subtle sarcasm. Manipulators can make one feel ashamed for even daring to challenge them. It is an effective way to foster a sense of inadequacy in the victim. Yeah, this is by Dr. George Simon, but what really got me is when it said shamming tactics can be very subtle, such as a face, look or glance, unpleasant tone of voice, which the victims do witness or experience from the gang stalkers. But when they tell someone, if they told a doctor or someone else about gang stalkers giving them a face, look or glance or unpleasant tone of voice, it'd be classed as paranoia. But this can also be hypocrisy, because if you did ever tell the doctors that you found someone giving you face, look or an unpleasant tone of voice, it would be classed as paranoia. But yeah, shockingly, Dr. George Simon said this, so I guess he knows about it, or if he's not one of those that you would tell them and then they would deny their very own beliefs about it. So I'm not sure, I'm just speculating here, and